Okay, okay. How's it, guys? You okay? I don't know anything about cybersecurity. Nothing. Okay, wait. Okay, 1.5 meters. Stand clear. Well ventilated area. Sanitize people. Okay. For those who don't know, my name is Riaad Moosa, and I don't know anything about cyber threats. Like maybe from what I know medical stuff. Like all I can think of, maybe put a mask on the computer. But we're gonna learn, I think, a little bit more about the cybersecurity thing, about like protection. Like a seatbelt. Like I assume you don't put a seatbelt on a computer, right? But we're gonna figure out how we're gonna protect ourselves a little bit from this threat. So for that, I want to welcome back on stage Kerissa. Please welcome to the stage. Let's maintain our distancing.
So Riaad and I are being very safe today. We're staying very far away from each other. Everyone in the studio has got masks on. So we're here for cybersecurity, but we're taking our own health and our own safety very seriously today. And we hope that all of you at home are doing the same. So Riaad has very graciously agreed for me to ask him, based on his expert advice, some very serious cybersecurity questions today. So Riaad, I hope you've prepped.
No.
I hope you're ready. Here we go. Yes. So you ready? Question number one.
What?
Guys,
I didn't know about this.
on the chat, tell him how well he's doing. If he's doing poorly,
this
may be the last All Mutual event. We don't know. Let's see how it goes. Okay, Riaad, ready? Question number one.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. So there's this rumor that no, goodness, this is going to be hard. There's this rumor. Hackers apparently use their last name and their street name or the name of their dog or cat.
What?
To figure out a masked name that they use online. So tell us if
they use the
name of their pet and the name of the street they lived on when they were a child to determine their screen name. Okay, so this is a rumor. It's actually not true, but we're going to give Riaad a chance to figure out what would be his name if he had to use this premise. So you want to give it a go?
I
Riaad?
had a goldfish called Morgan Freeman.
So
so to be like Morgan Freeman, Lower Main Road.
Whoa, that's going to be a hectic name.
That would be a really weird name. Like I'm a hacker, and I believe that hacking is the most important thing in the world. Like, that's not a bad Morgan Freeman, isn't it?
It's a very scary voice. Okay. It is a very scary voice.
Okay. So that's my hacker name. If I'm ever a hacker, my name was Morgan Freeman, Lower Main Road. Jeez.
Morgan Freeman might have an issue with that, Riaad.
Yes, you may. Yeah.
So is there anything you want to know from me? You can take a turn to ask me a question.
Okay. Maybe I can ask. Okay, so nowadays, like, everything is on our cell phones, right? Now, what's the best way to protect our cell phones? And as I say, like, I'm pretty sure it's not a mask on the cell phone. Like, that's not how these things like spread. Well, you can protect yourself. Like, I can say medically, apparently, there's what they call fomites, where the coronavirus can stick to the screen of the phone. And, so that's why it's important to keep your phone clean also, because it can be a vector of transmission. But like, I don't know about how do you protect your phones from being hacked or whatever. what we do.
So definitely keep your screens clean, but that's not going to help you from hackers, unfortunately.
Okay.
So let's help Riaad out. So Riaad, there's a couple of things you can do, and it's really simple, and it's probably stuff you know already. The first thing that I tell everybody to do is to update their apps. And if you're one of those people, like my mom, that goes delay, update, delay, update, delay, update, and I'm looking at you, I think you're one of those people. Riaad looks like one of those people, right, guys? He goes, I'm waiting until next month before I install this update. So if you're one of those people, you're actually putting yourself at risk, because how this works, Riaad, is that all the application owners out there, when they find a security flaw in an application, they will release an update. And that update will basically protect you from the attackers. So it's something really simple. Just really, when an app has an update, just install it as soon as you get it, and you're automatically protecting yourself from the bad guys. So that's tip number one. You're gonna try that one.
There's a fly on you like Mike Pence.
What?
there's a fly on you. But I don't want to come like, look, okay, it's fine. You're going to be safe.
Okay.
Okay, he's gone. He's gone now. It's not gone.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's gone. It's gone. Okay, what do I do? Okay, so you say updates. That's very important.
Yes, I see what you're talking about.
Okay. Maybe it's like a hacker. I don't know.
A miniature one.
It's like a
be careful what you talk about. He's now with you.
fly towards the lights. We got lights everywhere here, and they're flying towards us. All right. Okay.
Okay, so update your apps. That's the first tip.
Important.
Very
Okay,
important.
update the apps.
The second tip I'm going to give you is most smartphones out there have biometrics. So you could have a fingerprint reader. Or
My phone is stupid. I've got a stupid phone.
That's fine. I'm going to tell you how to help with that one
Okay.
as well. So if you've got it, use it.
And I hate biometrics because that's my lighties can hack into the biometrics because I'm sleeping, right? And then they come and then they take my thumb, right? And then they like buy, I don't know how many apps and stuff like that. They put the facial recognition on me while I'm sleeping. Right. Okay. So what do you do?
So the facial recognition is actually clever enough to know that your eyes are closed, so it won't read.
Whoa.
So it'll protect you from when your son's doing that in front of your face.
Okay, brilliant.
So use the biometrics that you have on your device to protect yourself. If you don't have biometrics, and some of the smartphones don't have biometrics, that's perfectly fine. Use a password that is long and strong. And it's really difficult to remember passwords, right? I don't know about you. I hate remembering passwords. So a trick that's really easy to remember is that length matters more than complexity. So instead of putting all those weird special characters,
it's not about length. That's how you use it.
In this,
okay.
In this, well, it's actually both with passwords. It's length and how you use it with passwords.
Okay. Length is more important.
Length is extremely important when it comes to passwords.
Okay.
So keep the password quite long, and the easy way to remember it is if you use a passphrase. So I could, for example, say, I love talking about cybersecurity with Riaad Moosa.
Yes.
And that is my password. And I could use it on, it's not my real password, guys, so don't try it. But I mean, that's the password that I could use on lots of things. And it's something that comes to me naturally and easily. And it's a phrase that I remember.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any exclamation marks. Then it doesn't have any question marks. Doesn't have any numbers. So you got to sit there and try and figure out what was that password. I really can't remember what that password was.
Yes.
And it's actually better at protecting you in the long run. Hackers find it more difficult to attack longer passwords than passwords that are shorter and more complicated.
Yes, but also don't use things that people will know.
Exactly.
Like you wouldn't use like a long password like that's a well-known song or something like that.
Exactly. Or your home address, for example.
Okay.
Don't use your home address or your ID number or something in there. Something that
but the
people know
hackers
about.
use their home address. You just said that.
Well, only the bad ones that call themselves
the bad
Morgan
ones.
Freeman.
Okay. Morgan Lower Main Road. Okay.
Okay, so you ready for your second question, Riaad?
Yes.
You ready? You want to take a breath? You need a glass of water? Anything? You okay?
Yeah. I'm doing badly here. I was good at it. I would have studied. I was very conscientious, and now I'm doing very poorly.
Guys, give him some love in the comments. I don't think he's doing too poorly. He actually remembered that your password needs to be kept safe and not shared as well. So okay, here we go. Your second question is, so you know on some websites that you go to and some applications, you get secret questions, and they'll ask you, what's your mother's maiden name? And what's your dog's name?
Yes.
And you know, it's typically how you chose your hacker name a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Those are some of the questions that would go on there. I don't typically like them because, you know, it's information that other people may know about you.
Yes.
And it's also very complicated to remember. Like, what's your favorite book? Like, when's the last time you...
Yes, what you really...
Exactly.
And then you change your mind because, like, yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
like, what was your favorite parent? And then it's like mom, and then...
Exactly.
Like,
and then your dad does something good, and then it's out the window, right?
And then you don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to design a better system of secret questions, like, what were the questions you think we should be asking people?
Jeez. What questions should be asking people? Secret questions. I don't know. I'm throwing a blank here.
Should we give him some help, guys? Post on the chat.
No, okay. Let's think about what secret questions. Like it must be private. I think it must be private, right? I was just thinking about this earlier on. Do you enjoy the smell of your own wins? Because you'd only know that, right? I'm not saying that I do. I'm just saying, like, I've heard, because I do a lot of research, that some people will, but that's a yes or no question, so that won't be that good, eh?
Yeah, it's one of two answers. It's pretty easy to guess.
To guess, yeah. It must be like specific. Okay, that's the one. I'll think about more. Okay,
Okay.
while I think about more of those. Now people think I enjoy the smell of my own wings. I don't. Like, that's just what came to mind. Sometimes you get put on the spot, and that's what happened. Yeah, they're talking about. Okay, now I heard about cyber warriors, right? Now, does that mean you have to like dress like Ertugrul and and then go like stab some hackers? Does it mean you have to like dress like and what does being a cyber warrior actually mean?
Well, that's a good question. But on a side note, if you ever do decide to dress up like that, please tell all of us about it, because we'd love to see it. I think it would be absolutely fabulous. Maybe the next time we bring you on board, you could do a little dress up for us.
Yeah. You know Ertugrul? You watch Ertugrul?
I haven't. What is it?
Oh, it's okay. Never mind. We won't talk about that. It's like it's like not. It's sort of a biopic series, about this guy, a Turkish guy, like many years ago. I think during the Ottoman Empire, and yeah.
Does he dress up like a warrior? I mean,
Yes,
I'm
he's a
thinking war
warrior.
paint and
Yeah.
the headdress and everything. So
Yeah.
the next time we do this, you
Like Braveheart, maybe. Like
yeah,
that.
you're on the next time we do
Yes,
this.
okay,
Cool.
okay.
So being a cyber warrior actually doesn't mean that you need to do something extraordinary. It doesn't mean the headgear. It doesn't mean the mask. It doesn't mean war paint. It just really means being vigilant, being careful and being alert, and being really aware of what the cyber threats are. Attackers know that people are really, they want to help each other, and they will prey off that ability for us to want to help each other. They will prey off the ability that we are scared of getting in trouble or losing access to something or having an account taken away, and they will prey off that to get information from us. So being a cyber warrior means in that moment, when you are busy doing something, think about what could happen from a cyber perspective. So I'm busy opening an email.
Yeah.
Just look at it and say, am I really expecting this email to come through to me? Is what it's asking me, does it sound valid? Does it sound like something I should be getting? Is it something that I should be responding to? And if you're uncertain, check. It literally takes 5 seconds.
Now, what are the examples of this thing? Like, what happens? Like, I know someone hacked my Instagram, right?
Sure.
And I was like feeling like such a stupid person. Like, I think they got a password out of me.
Sure.
And I don't know how I was so stupid. I can't even remember how. So now I've never been so stupid as to give someone my bank account details. Or my bank password. But there must be something in that moment that opens a person up psychologically. Like you say you wanna help people, or you think you're gonna lose something, or what is it?
So I'll give you an example. So let's say, for example, there's a statistic that says if someone has a coffee mug and they're standing in an office space, you are exponentially more likely to trust the person, because you believe that the person is part of the business. Because if they're having a cup of coffee there,
Yes.
they must be part of the organization, they must belong, right?
Yes.
So attackers are really great at getting into the psyche of people to understand how our brains work and how we would respond in a situation.
Yes.
So something as simple as someone walking into an area with a coffee mug in their hand, and your brain is already telling you, well, this person belongs. So you're already starting to trust them a little bit.
Yes.
Add something like a blazer that belongs to the organization, or tie and name tag, something like that.
Morgan Freeman.
There we go. And you completely convinced this guy is who he says it is.
Yes.
So it's about being, and it's a harsh way to think about it, but slightly paranoid.
Yes.
About the people you engage with. So always having that in the back of your mind, is this real conversation with yourself? And attackers that know that it's exponentially easier to convince a human being than it is to break into a system or to infiltrate an organization. It's easier to come and have a conversation with you and me, Riaad,
Yes.
or to send us an email that says, your Instagram account is going to get locked out in the next 5 minutes. Just reset your password here.
So would you say that it would be similar to how we engage with the virus now?
Of course.
So you assuming, like, to prevent anybody, we all help each other out by engaging in certain practices, like to prevent, like, like this from happening. So you be overtly vigilant about it.
Exactly.
Okay, but you can also get angry. So what would happen is everybody negotiates a risk differently. That's what I've realized. So if you talk about what happening, like certain people, like there's 3 things that we do. We wash our hands. I think most people agree with that. Social distancing, wearing the mask, those are things. And it's the same thing, but everybody doesn't engage with all of those things.
Yeah.
Like it's the same like what happened with HIV many years ago, right? Some people, because you have abstinence, you have wearing a condom, and some people just take a shower. You know, so you're saying we must be extra, even if like you're not busy doing it, like you must wear one. Like,
of course.
Like, is that what you mean?
Of course.
Okay.
And the shower is definitely not the standard we need in this digital age. It's definitely a higher standard. I mean, even with your Instagram example, it may not have been your Instagram password that they asked for. You may have been using your Instagram password on your LinkedIn account, for example.
Yes, there was something that...
And then LinkedIn, you know, LinkedIn could have had a compromise, or you could have had a LinkedIn request saying reset something. They could take that password from one area and use it somewhere else.
Yes.
So not reusing your password across multiple areas as well is also a good tip to think about how you implement, so you protect yourself from you know, a weaker site being breached.
And you say, so the best thing that I heard from you, like in terms of that, is using these phrases that's very personal to you, right? As opposed to, but you need numbers sometimes.
Yes, so there's still a lot of sites that use numbers. What I typically do then is I will use a sentence that has a number in it.
Yes.
So like on my first birthday, I did something.
Yes.
Okay, so something like that. Yes.
Yeah, that's a clever way. Okay, so there's a proper science to all of this. Okay.
Okay, so are you ready for your third question, Riaad?
Oh no, the worst. I don't know.
How's he doing, guys? He's doing well, I think.
No, I'm not.
I think he's doing really well.
I'm like really bad at this. You know, I'm really bad at protecting myself, really.
No, I mean, you know what? I think we're all here to learn, and I think that's the important part. If everyone comes out of this conversation with a little bit more information.
So you saying that my password mustn't be like 1, 2, 3, 4 ABC.
No, please.
Like, are you literally?
Yeah, we can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry.
Are you literally saying that to me?
I'm saying that your password is the keys to the kingdom on a lot of your accounts. And
bruh, I got no money, bruh. I got no money.
But you have
like maybe after this, you pay me. At the moment, I got no money. I got no shows. I don't remember any medicine. Like I studied for years. How about that? Nah? And I don't remember nothing. So I always tell people my shows, if you're eating something and goes down the wrong pipe, you go, and you say, "You're a doctor." Like I can spring to action and then entertain you as you slowly pass away. That's all I can do. Like tell you a joke while you die. That's all I can do. And the weird thing is, I still ask my father for scripts sometimes because you need like prescriptions, right? I still ask him sometimes for my kids because I haven't like maintained my connection to the Health Professionals Council. So I still ask him for scripts.
And how does he respond?
And like he does it, but like he in his right to go, like I paid for you to be a doctor, like so I can avoid doing this, right? Like, and he would be in his right mind, like in his rights. But anyway.
So Riaad, today you're going to know how to entertain people, and you're going to know how to keep your Instagram account safe.
Safe. Okay. So
you know 2 things now.
Okay. So now what do I? Okay.
Okay, you ready for your third question? Okay. So
is anybody as bad as me?
You guys, he's doing well. I still think he's doing well.
What did they say? Riaad,
doing well. There we go.
Security phase for you. What said Zay? That is a good one, eh? But how do you spell Zay? Like D-Z-A-Y. That's what you said. Zay.
Then you have to remember how you spelt it as well.
No, but Zay is a good one. Zay. Okay. Okay. But see it's Zay.
So Riaad, can you tell us about the best or the worst phishing email you ever received?
Well, I don't like really get into this thing, but I mean, if I got a phishing email, I think some sort of prince. Usually, it's like some sort of rich person in Nigeria and stuff. But this was a relative from like my actual village from India. right? And we've always tried to like go back and try and connect with them. We've always wanted to do that. And this person said this person has left you land, and it was from my village in India.
Wow.
And that was absolutely like amazing. You know, I followed it quite far until it seemed like a bit too personal. I mean, like asking for too much. But it's actually very scary. Very scary. I pooped myself a little bit when I realized.
These Nigerian scams or these Indian scams.
But you can't, we can't stereotype people.
Yeah, of
right?
course. So it's not a specific area. Yeah. But these scams that do come through, there was a guy that went online and he actually followed it through all the way to the end.
Yes.
So he communicated with the people and he said it was a gold scam. So he said the guy said to him, "Come and buy some gold and we'll go into business together, and it's an awesome opportunity and you're gonna make so much of money." And he was a security guy and he said, "Great, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna follow this through." So he said to the guy, I don't want to buy just $100 of the gold. I want to buy like $100,000 of the gold.
So now he's scamming the other guy.
So the guy goes, "But I need to speak to my boss because I'm not authorized to let out this limit." So he goes back in and he speaks to his boss, and they go on this conversation. The guy is very adamant that it's a real business opportunity, that he's a really a safe businessman to do business with. He gets the authorization, blah 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 blah, and it goes on for about a month. And eventually the guy says to him, "Okay, like when can we do this?" And then I think he decides, no, this guy's pushing it too hard. And the attacker actually stepped back. Now, I wouldn't advise you guys to do that. I would advise you guys to actually, when you see things like this, to actually realize that these guys are very well equipped to look like a solid business, to look like a real business. So even if it goes on for a while and the guy's communicating and he's got a call center and he's got a manager and he's got a secretary, it's not necessarily a real business.
Real thing.
Exactly.
Now, I get a lot of also emails about my Facebook page, and people want to advertise on my Facebook page, right? And then they say they'll pay me a certain amount of money, right? I can choose whatever ads, right? Like I can decide which ads and they will just pay me.
So can I give you a tip on how to...
Now, just, yes, please, because it just looks like it's a very poorly designed email. So that's why I'm like, is this... Because a lot of times the scam stuff looks very official. Now, this is just like a random email. And like, what do I do?
So we've got a very common thing that's going around in financial services right now. People are being contacted on WhatsApp. And they're posing to be corporates like Old Mutual. So you'll get a WhatsApp to say...
through social media also.
Through social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, SMS, the whole toot. So people will pose as Old Mutual and they'll go, "I'm from Old Mutual and we've got a new product and it's brilliant and it's fabulous and it's really something that's going to bring you lots of money." And a lot of our customers go out there and they interact with these people because they don't know any better.
Yes.
And so some tips to really keep yourself safe is...
Some tips to keep yourself safe. You just said
tips.
That. Okay. Because I realized that laughter is like my tick. That's over this lockdown, I'm addicted to it. So like it's a problem. But okay, sorry for saying that.
No, it's fine. So the tip to really sort of validate is to validate using an out-of-channel means. So let's say, for example, you get a WhatsApp from Old Mutual and you have a regular advisor that you deal with or branch that you go to or call center that you phone. Rather phone that number or contact that person that you know to validate that the communication is actually real.
Yes.
I mean, Riaad, for your examples of people contacting you on Facebook, I would ask them who else they've worked with. And I would go, so who else do I know that I trust that I can validate your relationship with?
Yes.
Because you can't just naturally trust, even if the mail looks great and the logo is perfect and it looks brilliant and the WhatsApp is really professional, you can't trust.
What are your references?
Yes, look for the references. And look for the communication channels that organizations are putting out there that they are promoting themselves. So this person is unsolicited. He's coming to you out of the blue.
Yeah.
Old Mutual as an organization, we put our details on our website. You contact us when you have a need and we will service you. This guy's completely unsolicited. So the WhatsApp, when you've never dealt with a company before and suddenly you get a WhatsApp, you should start questioning whether it's actually valid and whether you should be communicating with the company in that manner or a different channel. So validate it via references, go back to their website and make sure if it is a company that you deal with often, that you're using a channel that you've used before, that you trust, or that the channel that the company is putting out there without the unsolicited communication.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
okay, I got a question for you.
Okay,
now.
great.
Let me like at least get now. Okay, so everybody looks very capable. Yeah, I'm appreciating all the stuff that you've told me. Now, like you say, why should it actually worry me?
Yeah.
Like why? Because I'm thinking you guys seem to have your act together. Why do I must just sit and relax and you can protect me?
So.
You know?
So that's a very good question, and it's a question that all of us need to understand. So no matter how many security professionals we have out there, no matter how many security systems we have out there, us giving away information is always going to let an attacker get through those systems, because we are actually authorized users. So if you think about LinkedIn or Facebook, your Facebook account, if you think about that and logging into that account, you're a trusted user of that account. So you're allowed access into that account in a way that I wouldn't be allowed access into your account. Similar with all our other accounts, whether they're personal or corporate or whatever they are, there's a certain set of rules around a trusted user and a non-trusted user. So you can have the best security systems in the world, you can have the best security people in the world, but us taking accountability for doing the right thing, not disclosing our passwords, not clicking on that mail that has the suspicious link, not speaking to someone with a coffee mug when you don't know who they are, validating who they are. All of that is part of the arsenal.
You leave your door open and stuff, put all your valuables in the foyer.
Exactly.
You can't complain to the security or the police that or just like because they didn't.
Exactly. And think about our homes, right? I'm sure at your home, you've got a fence, you've got a front door, you've got a gate. There's multiple protections that you put there. So you can't just go, well, actually, we've got a security system or I've got security people.
I also got a ninja.
You got a ninja?
Mm.
What is his job?
He's a ninja, a proper ninja. Like, wow, that guy with the nunchucks.
Does he dress up in the suit and everything?
Yeah, proper ninja.
Ooh,
like that freaks the robbers out. Like proper. For real, ninja security.
So this is also, guys, I think we got to
not just that, Brian. Well, Mr. Moosa, what is it? I got a proper like samurai sword and everything. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
I want a ninja.
It's very cool. Actually, it's just like a lady in parda, but no. It's just my wife's family. They dress like that. So some people think that it's the case. No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so are you ready for
no, I didn't. Okay, ask
you ready
me
for
another.
it's a last question.
Okay,
it's a last one. We won't torture you anymore after this.
Okay.
Do you know what the abbreviation MFA stands for? And if you don't, you can render a guess.
No, I do know.
You do know. Okay, great. Tell us.
It's like MMA, right?
No.
It's like MMA. This is like mixed martial arts. This is mixed father arts. Like what if your colored father likes painting? That's what it's like. So mixed father arts.
I think you may have just invented a new thing.
No, it's not that.
It's not that.
I knew it wasn't that, but that's all that came to my mind.
Mixed father arts.
Not educated in this regard. I know people are going, how did this bra pass medicine? But I know you are valid in your critique of me.
But Riaad, we're all here to learn. So I'm glad that we're having a conversation with someone who's a doctor who has nothing to do with IT. MFA.
Like, I feel so bad. Like, I can't even say what I think MF part of MFA stands for. But I feel like, like saying that.
Okay, so MFA stands for multi-factor authentication.
Okay.
It just basically means you use more than one factor to prove who you are.
Yes.
So you can use a password and a PIN. You can use
one-time password.
Exactly, a one-time. There we go. You
all
know
this.
it.
Okay.
You know it.
But that's an OTP.
It is. It's a
OTP.
one-time PIN is a type of multi-factor authentication.
Oh.
Your biometrics is a type of multi-factor authentication.
I like that. I like OTP. It sounds cool.
It does. It is, and it's very
OTP.
useful and very easy to use as well.
Mm.
So the Old Mutual app, for example, if you go into the App Store and you download the Old Mutual app,
Okay.
you can download it, and then you use either facial recognition or biometrics using your fingerprint to be able to authenticate to the mobile app. And so that means I'm proving who I am by downloading it, authenticating with my email address and registering. But I'm also got myself, which is my person, linked to opening the app itself.
Yes.
So if your son steals your phone, Riaad, and use your fingerprint to unlock it, he still has to use your face or your fingerprint to unlock the Old Mutual app. So it's an extra layer of protection. So you might wake you up the second time he tries.
Okay. All right, good. Now I'll ask you now another question. Okay, now what's happening in the world? And I've seen lots of news and media about the cybersecurity. I've seen it. That's why I'm reading this out. I've seen lots of news and media about cyber attacks, but surely this doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, I'm prepared for this. So I have seen this. Like, I mean, cybersecurity attacks happen all the time. There's movies about it. It's freaking people out. Like it's definitely freaking out the older people. Like definitely without a doubt, because they already think like technology is too much, and now they've been forced to engage with this world. And what's happening? What's
So cybercrime has increased exponentially in 2020. It's one of our worst years ever, and a number of big corporations out there have fallen prey. So it's not
because of specifically lockdown.
Well, it's a whole chain of events. So I think economically people are doing worse, which then drives people into crime.
Yes.
And cybercrime.
People are more vulnerable.
People are more vulnerable. If you think about.
So if you get an opportunity, you may be like psychologically vulnerable to actually falling those
being
phishing.
Duped. If you think about also the fact that the majority of our lives are online. So I'm doing my grocery shopping online. I'm speaking to my mom via Zoom. The ton of my life is now online. So it's available for attackers to attack, to get to know me, to be able to understand who I am, and then to use that information to perpetrate further attacks against bigger corporations. And if you think about really...
Now, how do they use your information to attack bigger corporations?
So for example, if... let's say you are me as an Old Mutual employee.
Yeah.
So if they gather information about me, they can understand more or less what is my passphrase, or they can understand. And obviously, if my passphrase is long, it's difficult to guess. But the more intelligence they gather about me, the more they can build a profile me. Okay. They know what I like. So let's say, for example, I go to a specific restaurant quite often. They may send me a voucher from the restaurant and say, click here and enter your details, and we'll give you a 50 Rand voucher at the next meal.
No,
so
really?
Everything about you. I mean, what you're tagging on Facebook, what you're putting out on LinkedIn, they are brilliant minds. They will do a ton of reconnaissance to find out who you are, to be able to use that information to infiltrate a larger organization. So it's sometimes we think, nobody really cares where I go on holiday. Nobody really cares where my kids go to school. Nobody really cares, which area I live in. And we tag all of these things, right? So much of that data is out there about us. And these attackers build profiles of us.
And it's not just about stealing money. It's also about stealing secrets.
And data. Data is the new oil.
What do you mean? They steal like your... What do you mean your daughter?
Yes. No, not like 3G data. I'm talking about actual information.
Okay.
Information, yeah.
Okay.
But that sounds like a good attack vector, though. Something that attackers should look at.
Right. Like this bra stole my airtime. This is like, I feel violated. Okay.
So they've built a profile around people that work at organizations. They build a profile. They may, for example, take you, for example, they'll build a profile around you, all the information that you give out publicly, and you maybe the conversations you have about your family and whatever, they'll build a profile about you.
And they can use information to extort.
They can.
As well.
They can. And we've also had quite a myriad of crimes recently where people have they've actually fabricated information. So they fabricate information about you. They then post it on a website, and then they go, until you pay me a ransom, I'm not going to take it down. So it's the way that cybercrime is adapting. It's changing exponentially. So it's not just the older people that need to be worried about it.
Yes.
All of us need to be worried about it. I think it's something that is scary.
Okay, so now
but with the right tools, you can manage.
Now, can't you just go off the grid and go live in the woods?
I don't think that's practical for anyone. But
Yes.
but the advice I would give you,
especially since the trees is probably like some sort of cell phone tower.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Where are you going to find a
I'm
place?
safe. Let's chop this tree down. Everybody's signal goes. Like, yeah, it's difficult because this is what the challenge with it is. We can't, because there's a large move to turn away from technology, but we are unable to. It's like it's so powerful you're unable to. It's like when fire was created. Like fire will cook your food, it'll warm your house, but it'll also burn you. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
This is fire. So it's so powerful you can't turn your hand, like your eye away from it. You have to engage with it, but you need to know how to.
Exactly.
You need to be able to master the fire.
Exactly. And I think I wouldn't recommend that anyone goes off the grid. So I wouldn't recommend. I think if I tell Riaad Moosa to take down his social media profiles, guys, I think I'll have a chance in hell. I think that's how he works. But I can give you some practical tips, right? So I mean, know what's out there about you. Attackers do reconnaissance on you. Do your own reconnaissance on yourself. So know that my favorite restaurant is actually being tagged on Facebook, or my friend tagged me in a picture at my favorite restaurant. Okay. So do your own reconnaissance, understand what's out there about you, and then when something happens with something you have shared publicly, be extra cautious.
Yes.
Just take that extra step of precaution to think, is this someone that's trying to target me based on public information? Where you've gone to school is on LinkedIn. The jobs that you've had is on LinkedIn. Your references on LinkedIn are people you've worked with. So it may be, I've actually just, Kerissa, I know you worked with Tommy. And Tommy and I are great friends, and he recommended I get in contact with you. But Tommy is my contact on LinkedIn. He has given me a reference to say he's worked with me before. So that's not information that is not publicly available about me. So
Yes.
just be really aware, because the attackers will take every avenue to get at you. And it's just about being really aware of what you put out there, being cautious about what you put out there. But when you put it out there, just being aware that it is out there so you can protect yourself from them.
As a sort of a public figure, I'm not saying I'm famous or nothing, but like that's actually very anxiety provoking, because it's not just myself that puts out information about me. So it's very hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll just be cautious.
Don't be scared about it. I think if you think about a whole ton of public figures
don't
out
have
there,
fear, just learn about
exactly.
it.
Arm yourself to be able to live in this world.
Yes.
Exactly.
So okay, maybe like that's a good. Don't have fears, because maybe we can tie it up with the whole, COVID-19 thing. Don't be fearful that you are going to catch something. Just know that with certain measures, right? And if you just make it part of your life, you can decrease the risk
exactly
of it happening
exactly
everywhere and for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is an ecosystem, so we all need to protect ourselves, to protect everybody around us.
To protect each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it's interesting. I don't know. Like simple people find it difficult to adopt new things. How long do we still have? Few minutes. Right? Are we gonna?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because it's interesting. People find it whenever you introduce something new. So this is new now, right? People find it very hard to adopt anything new. Like even this guy, there's a guy called Ignaz Semmelweis. You don't know if you heard of him. He was a doctor, Hungarian doctor, an obstetrician, who introduced for the first time doctors washing hands.
What?
This wasn't a well-known thing.
The doctors not wash hands?
Not necessarily, because they thought the idea at that point in time that disease traveled through clouds of gas called miasma. So they never knew about germs because they never had a microscope at that time. So they couldn't see there was like minuscule, invisible, little tiny organisms that was sort of causing disease. So their theory was that whenever there's disease, there's generally bad smells. There are bad smells around there. Disease is spread through bad smells that people breathe in. So that was the prevailing view. Now, this guy noticed that a lot of women in the obstetrics ward, there were two wards, one for like uppity class women, upper class women, and one for apparently for even for prostitutes, I think, that they used to allow in. But the ward that was looking after the ladies of the night was staffed by midwives, and the ward that was looking after the upper class women was staffed by doctors and med students. But the midwives, right, most of the people survived. Most of the ladies survived. But in the doctor ward, like they had like a 25% death rate. And he couldn't understand why this was happening. He was like, what do we do? And why is this happening? Because everybody's doing the similar things. So he tried to figure out what they are doing differently. And apparently the doctors were going to the mortuary before they came to examine the women.
Oh my goodness.
So they were doing their dissections and everything, and then going to like examine women and deliver babies.
Oh
and
my
the
goodness.
women used to get like sick afterwards because of infection, and like they and then this guy introduced washing hands. He said, let's just clean our hands, wash our hands everywhere, and it practically removed all the deaths. But then people find it difficult to change because now the medical establishment is saying, you're talking nonsense. And they like actually ostracized this dude, and he eventually died in a mental institution.
Oh my goodness.
Just because he said like something that we say is obvious today, wash your hands, So I think it's important, embrace change, like listen to the information that we have, the institute, all these protocols. Don't be fearful of it.
Yeah, exactly.
No fear. Just do it so we can help each other.
And I think today you've all got some really great tips to be a cyber warrior. So it's not about being fearful. It's not about being scared, like Riaad says. It's about having those tools and tips and tricks to be able to arm ourselves to become cyber warriors every single day and at every single opportunity.
This poor person, there's a person called, says, I'm a paranoid person. Now I'm a bit more paranoid. I got that idea that you were paranoid, anonymous. Don't even put their name out there. Like, okay, now you see there, right? There'll be a lot more anonymouses. Anonymous.
I think it's better to know about what could, especially with, if you take the COVID example, it's a great analogy.
Yes.
You could sit in a bubble and say I'm scared and I'm not going to learn anything about how to protect myself.
Yes.
Or you could actually learn about how the virus works, how it gets transferred, what you can do to protect yourself.
Yes.
And cybersecurity is exactly the same.
The same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just learn the tips and tricks. Keep in mind what I've said to you today, and I'm just going to recap some of the key tips and tricks that I've given you. The first one is update your apps on your phones, and we've spoken about why that's important. Keep those apps updated. The application developers are adding security patches all the time that protect you from attackers. The second one is to use biometrics or to use a passphrase, which is a long string of characters that says a sentence and that you can then remember easily, but nobody else knows about you. It's something personal to you. The third thing that I've said to you today is to really be very careful when you are engaging both in person, electronically, social media, about who people are and who they say they are. And to really validate who people are via a different channel or going back into the organization that you deal with to validate that the communication is correct. And then the last piece of information that I gave you is when you're going into social media and you're posting information about yourself, don't stop doing that. I know asking Riaad to stop posting is never going to work, so I'm not going to ask you to do that either, and I post on social media as well. But really just be aware about what information is out there about you that people may use against you so that you can be a cyber warrior, fight cybercrime on every single initiative and every single experience that you have to keep all of us safer, to keep yourself safe, your family safe, your work safe, your colleagues safe, because that's what today is all about, and that's what Cyber Month is all about.
The main thing is don't be fearful of it.
Exactly.
Just like the same way in which you wash your hands.
Exactly.
Like if you understand the mindset when they first introduced the whole thing of washing hands, people, oh, like now I must worry about everything. But now we many years on, it's just part of the culture, part of what we do. And I think, if you have that mindset, understand there's no fear, because that's very important, because we don't want people to get anxious about it, but we still want people to engage in good practices.
Exactly. I think I've really enjoyed the time, Riaad. Thank you so much for spending it with me. I hope that you've learned a little bit about cybersecurity today.
No, I've learned a lot, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate our mutual, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity also to perform and do some stand-up, because I've been going mal at home. So, at least also we're engaged in something that's protective, and learning about how to keep ourselves and other people safe.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much for spending an absolutely awesome day with us, or hour and a half with Riaad and I. We really enjoyed the session. We hope you learned something out of this. And we hope you're going to tell your family and your friends and your colleagues about what you learned today. Because like I said, we're only as safe as the weakest link. Go out there, be a cyber warrior, be a cyber hero, protect yourself, protect your family, protect our mutual, protect our customers, and do your best every single day to be aware of cybercrime and to be alert and to be a cyber warrior. Go well, everyone. Cheers.